Welcome to Notebook Nuggets.
Great to be diving in again.
So you sent us Jordan B. Peterson's Beyond Order. You wanted to cut through the complexities.
Yeah, exactly. Get straight to the core ideas about, navigating life.
Right. So that's the mission today. We're unpacking his ideas on balancing order and chaos, see what really stands out.
And he's building on his earlier work, 12 Rules for Life, but this time looking more at the dangers of too much structure, too much rigidity.
Finding that sweet spot then, that equilibrium.
That's the idea. We're hunting for those aha moments, those practical insights, but without getting, totally bogged down.
Okay, sounds good. Let's dive right in. So first up, he talks a lot about social institutions.
Right, which is interesting because so much self-help is purely individualistic.
Yeah, but he's arguing that things like family, work, government, they're crucial, absolutely crucial for well-being.
They act like frameworks, don't they? They sort of pre-structure reality for it.
Reduce the complexity.
Exactly. Instead of figuring out every single interaction from scratch, you have norms, expectations. It guides you.
Makes the world feel a bit less chaotic, I suppose.
And this starts, right from birth, doesn't it?
Learning the rules of the game within these structures.
Acquiring skills, understanding where you fit, how to act effectively, hopefully beneficially.
So it really highlights that we're not just islands. Our mental state isn't purely internal.
No, it's deeply tied to these external things. Status, education, money, how we fit into these institutions.
They offer a path, maybe, through the potential chaos.
Sort of established pathway, yeah. Okay, so then he brings in this really evocative idea.
The materia prima from alchemy.
Yeah, exactly. For anyone not familiar, it's like the fundamental, formless stuff. Pure potential.
And he's saying our lives are like that, full of possibilities.
Brimming with them. And the question becomes, how do you shape that potential?
Move towards an ideal version of yourself.
Right. He stresses actually envisioning who you want to become, visualizing.
And then actively working towards it. It's not passive.
No, it involves deliberate thought, adapting creatively, tackling internal stuff like fear or, lack of discipline.
So maybe through things like journaling, setting actual goals.
Could be. Or just reflecting on your values, consciously choosing your direction.
Becoming the hero of your own story, as he puts it sometimes.
Precisely. Using that unique human capacity for imagination to chart a course.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. He tells this story. It seems small, but it feels significant. About his father-in-law.
Oh, the anecdote with the small plate.
Yeah. It sounds almost trivial, right? But it points to something bigger.
The danger of ignoring those minor background irritations, the things that just keep nagging at you.
Because they don't stay small, do they?
No, they can build up, fester, and then erupt, often way out of proportion to the trigger.
Like this outburst over a plate after years of quiet annoyance.
It really shows why you need to address those little things, the small pains.
Before they snowball into major chaos.
Exactly. And he connects this to relationships too, doesn't he? The client with the pop art.
Oh, right. She hated her husband's art collection, but never said anything clearly.
Yeah, just let it fester. And it became a huge factor in their marital breakdown.
So the lesson is confront the small stuff. Even if it's awkward.
Be proactive. Notice those frictions, those things that feel off, and deal with them. A slightly uncomfortable chat now might save huge pain later.
We've probably all been there, avoided something small that then blew up.
Definitely. Which leads nicely into this whole idea of responsibility.
Ah, yes. The Peter Pan versus Captain Hook contrast.
Right. Peter Pan avoids all responsibility, stays eternally useful, but maybe directionless.
And Hook is burdened by it, crushed even.
But Peterson's argument is that taking on responsibility, while hard, is actually essential for meaning.
It's like trading that unlimited potential of childhood.
For direction, for structure, for a role to play.
And he suggests this isn't a loss, right? It's actually what gives life significance.
It imbues it with purpose, yeah. Like choosing a specific part in that play we mentioned.
It limits you, maybe, but gives you a way to contribute meaningfully.
So he advocates actively seeking responsibilities, caring for yourself, for others, taking on tasks.
Because that's where gratification and belonging often come from.
Which links to another powerful idea, standing up for what you believe in. Or maybe standing against what you dislike.
Even when there's pressure to just go along with things.
Especially then. He uses that example of a workplace banning certain words, seemingly harmless words.
Right, in the name of inclusivity. And his client just couldn't stomach it.
Felt it was wrong, fundamentally. And she ended up leaving her job over it.
That's a big step. But his point, quoting Shakespeare, "To thine own self be true."
Yeah. The world often asks us to act in ways that clash with our core beliefs.
And suppressing that, conforming to something you despise, that's damaging.
Deeply damaging, he argues. Psychologically, So what do you do?
Well, he suggests two paths, right?
Essentially, yeah. You can challenge the order, push back, but you have to be ready for the consequences. Or you remove yourself. Find an environment that aligns better with your values.
Neither sounds easy.
No, but maybe better than tolerating something you truly hate day in and day out.
Okay. Now, he also sounds a warning note about ideology.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Especially the oversimplified ones.
Yeah.
The ones offering easy answers to really complex problems.
Black and white thinking.
Exactly. And they often use vague, abstract language, he points out, and can foster resentment.
Resentment towards whom?
Often towards those perceived as successful or towards a designated villain group. It simplifies the world drastically.
Blame becomes easy.
Too easy. That resentment, that bitterness, it stops personal growth because you're focused outward on blaming, not inward on self-improvement.
So what's the alternative then, if not ideology?
Well, one powerful counterforce he discusses is commitment.
Yep.
Deep commitment.
He uses that image, doesn't he? Coal turning into a diamond.
Under intense pressure and heat. Yeah. It's an analogy for the rewards of really dedicating yourself to something meaningful.
Resisting that urge for immediate gratification.
Channeling your energy, managing those impulsive, more chaotic parts of yourself.
And there's a positive feedback loop.
Right. The more you invest, the more your life improves, the more fulfilled you feel. He even uses his own PhD experience as an example of that grind, that commitment paying off.
Interesting. Okay, moving beyond just order and responsibility, he talks about beauty.
Yeah, the necessity of beauty.
Wow.
Which might seem secondary, but he argues it's fundamental.
He mentions fixing up his own university office, making it more aesthetically pleasing.
It raises the question, why does beauty matter so much?
What's his take?
He sees beauty, art, aesthetic experiences as deeply woven into culture. Communicate things words can't always capture.
They invite introspection, make you stop and think.
And can even spark that sort of childlike wonder again. Openness to the world, provide new perspectives.
Like how music or a painting can just hit you.
Exactly that kind of impact. It enriches life beyond pure function.
Okay, what about difficult stuff? Like painful memories. We all have those moments late at night.
Right, where they just replay.
Yeah.
He offers a different way to look at that.
Not just useless rumination.
No, potentially a valuable process. An opportunity for growth, believe it or not.
Not so.
By intentionally examining them. Maybe even writing them down. Trying to understand them from your current perspective.
To extract lessons.
Exactly. He gives an example of a patient revisiting a childhood memory, but with her adult understanding, she could reframe it, start to heal.
So transforming past pain into future wisdom.
That's the goal, yeah. Actively working with the memory, not just being haunted by it.
That leads into relationships too, doesn't it? He stresses intentionality there.
Hugely. Successful partnerships don't just happen magically. They require conscious effort, planning, attention,
constant negotiation, building trust,
open communication, really understanding your partner's needs and desires, and them understanding yours. The practical stuff of sharing a life, too.
And even romance needs that conscious effort, scheduling it sometimes.
He suggests so, yeah. Prioritizing connection intentionally, because life gets busy. It needs nurturing.
And underpinning all of this, the stories we tell ourselves, our internal narratives.
Massive impact. He warns us to be really mindful of the stories we adopt.
Because they shape everything, thoughts, feelings, actions.
Profoundly. We need to be wary of narratives that breed resentment or deceit or arrogance.
He talks about archetypes within these stories.
Yeah, patterns like the hero, the adversary, culture, nature. Understanding those helps us choose healthier perspectives, ones that acknowledge challenges but also our own responsibility.
Right. And finally, amidst all the difficulty life throws at us, suffering is inevitable, right?
Seems to be part of the deal, yeah.
His final point is about gratitude.
Yes, even in the midst of hardship, the importance of gratitude.
Why? How does that help?
He argues it helps us see the balance.
Yeah.
Life has good and bad, suffering and joy. Gratitude helps acknowledge the good.
And recognize that hardship can bring growth. Insight.
Potentially, yes. It helps us endure without falling into total despair. It lets us appreciate what we do have.
And motivates us to build on that good.
Exactly. To expand the positive aspects of life.
Wow. Okay, so that's a lot to digest from Beyond Order. It really does offer a framework, doesn't it?
A rich set of ideas, yeah.
Yeah.
For finding that balance between structure, order, and the unknown, the chaotic.
These 12 additional rules, they seem aimed at fostering growth, responsibility, deeper understanding.
Of ourselves and the world. It's definitely food for thought.
Well, we hope this deep dive has given everyone listening some valuable nuggets, maybe some of those aha moments.
Definitely encourage reflection. How do these ideas resonate with your own life? What stood out most?
What questions did it spark for you?
Always good questions to ask.
Indeed. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into Jordan B. Peterson's Beyond Order.
It was a pleasure.
We look forward to our next exploration together.